After Prometheus received mixed reviews in 2012 and Aliens Colonial Marines completely bombed in 2013, people were starting to wonder if the Alien franchise had anything left to give us. Then a game developer known as the Creative Assembly stepped up to the plate with a pretty neat idea. What if we make a video game, kinda like the first Alien film, rather than the action-themed second one? Genius! I mean, it's only exactly what the fans have been wanting for years now. But I digress. Amanda Ripley, daughter of Ellen Ripley from the first Alien film, accompanies a team of Weyland-Yutani employees to Sevastopol, an android manufacturing facility in deep space. Their goal is to retrieve the flight recorder of Ellen Ripley's ship, the Nostromo, which was recently located and brought to Sevastopol Station. By listening to what's on the flight recorder, Amanda hopes to gain closure on her mother's disappearance, which happened over 15 years ago. Unfortunately, the team reaches Sevastopol only to find that the station has taken damage and communications are heavily disrupted. 3 of the crew members attempt to board Sevastopol but are immediately separated when debris cuts their EVA line. Following this, the player must traverse a dark and decayed space station that is completely devolved from civilization to desperation. But even worse than the lack of order is what lurks in the vents above you. It seems to me that in recent years, games that claim to be survival horror turn out to be lukewarm representations of the genre. Let me make this perfectly clear. A good survival horror game should stress your ability to persevere under pressure. There are too many action-themed survival games today where things like hiding and scavenging and making smart decisions are completely secondary to the normal gameplay. Thankfully, Alien Isolation is firmly outside this trend. This is a survival game on steroids, an excellent representation of what the genre should strive for. Increasingly scarce resources, little to no heads-up display, intelligent enemies who stalk you, it has it all. But it doesn't end there. There's an abundance of subtle design choices all over this game that demonstrate Alien Isolation's loyalty to the survival horror genre. For instance, when you use the motion tracker, your vision focuses on the tracker and the background becomes blurred. So choice. But it is possible to have a survival game with a stunning level of realism fall completely on its ass because it just doesn't have the entertainment factor. So what is it that makes Alien Isolation work? Well, for one, the AI is some of the most advanced I have ever seen, especially on the Alien. It tracks you, it gets curious, and when it spots you, well, you're pretty much done for. The alien's design and behavior are astonishingly true to the original Alien film. In fact, the setting, the attire, the technology, everything about this game so perfectly captures what the first Alien film established. This is because 20th Century Fox provided the developers with 3 terabytes of data relating to the original film. I am so glad they made this design choice, because the first Alien film basically depicted what we thought the future would look like back then. And even though we're pretty obviously wrong, there's just something special about beefy monochrome monitors and plastic mechanical keyboards. I'd also like to point out, as a part-time member of the PC Master Race, that this game runs fucking flawlessly on PC. I maintained 60 FPS through the entire game on max settings. This is probably one of the best optimized titles I've seen lately, to be honest. Some other aspects I enjoyed about this game include the smooth stealth mechanics, the foggy metallic horror visuals, and of course the fact that Amanda Ripley turned out to be just as badass as her mother. Take that, Tumblr feminists. No strong female protagonist might ache an ass. I have one problem with this game. One problem with this game. One major problem about this game. It is so fucking long. You know how much footage I have for my one playthrough on PC? One playthrough on a survival horror game that takes place in one setting. I have 21 hours of footage. That's not like going through the game halfway and then restarting again and recording all over. No, one playthrough, 21 hours from beginning to end. I mean, I'm all for getting your money's worth. Yeah, sure, whatever. But this game just drags in the second half. There are at least 3 fake endings, and good God, the amount of padding makes me want to rip my fucking hair out. I cannot stand padding. I loathe artificial time wasting. It is one of the worst offenses for a video game in my book. And this game, it would have been perfect. It would have been fucking spectacular if it wasn't for this horse shit. First, there's manual saving. Yeah, save me the spill about Silent Hill and other horror games using it to make the experience more strenuous. Some people think it serves a purpose, I really don't. I think it wastes my time and makes the experience more frustrating than it needs to be. Second, there's repetition. Oh God, is there repetition. You see this switch? You see this lever? You see this vent? Well, get used to these 3 things because I swear at least 25% of the game is spent doing this shit. I cannot tell you how many times the objective was to restore power to an area. It gets so old. And cutting down on these portions could have made the game shorter and more impacting easily. Don't get me wrong, Alien Isolation had a few really cool puzzle moments where you had to use your head to figure out what to do, but these moments were absolutely drowned out by the onslaught of flipping some goddamn switches. Thirdly, so much backtracking. There's a particular transit area that transports you between different towers on the space station, and you will be backtracking to this location, let's just say, frequently. Then, once you're there, hit a button again, and wait 40 seconds for the train to pick you up and bring you to the next area. This, in my opinion, where I come from, is poor game design. About 2/3 of the way through Alien Isolation, I was fucking begging. I was begging for it to be over. Sweet, merciful gods, make it over. I was so fucking miserable. And that's not even because the latter portions of the game are bad. I thoroughly enjoyed the meaty bits of every segment of the game. But it's just the fucking time-wasting bullshit in between. Okay, I admit it, Alien Isolation is a remarkable game. It just spent way too much time dicking around. There are so many things to love about this game, guys, and it is a massive step past Aliens Colonial Marines. But for future reference, for any game devs who may be watching, a short and impacting game is leagues better than a long and tedious game. Playtime value is highly overrated. Alien Isolation receives a very solid 4 out of 5, weighed down only by its longevity. Up next for review is my most anticipated game of the entire year of 2014, The Evil Within. Yep, I'm actually getting a press copy and I'm actually reviewing it in just a few short days, so hold on to your butts. Until next time, I'm the Investigamer. Never trust the crowd, only the investigation.